To stress you out by trying to keep up with my lifestyle that I already have and am accustomed to. I'm going to these restaurants just for lunch meetings, and it takes you your whole check to take me there. You are still wanting a vacation for the weekend. I vacation and go on holiday for the month.
Give it up.
Everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I wanted to take a little bit of time to dissect a little bit an interview that actress RAYE McCOY did with ex-television producer Carlos King. And I think he's still currently producing some things. But this is on his YouTube channel, so you should definitely go check that out. In the interview, which you just caught a little bit of a snippet in, she's talking about her expectations when dating. Now that she's dating, she's twice divorced and, she's back out, mingling and all of that. And the thing that kind of really caught my attention is her expectation, her standards, her perception of relationships. And I've seen her in a few interviews, but we're just going to talk about this one in particular, and mainly the snippet that I had at the beginning of the video. RAYE McCOY, in my opinion, and probably, millions others probably, is a beautiful woman. She's aesthetically pleasing to the eye, a natural beauty, if you will. She's kept herself up. And not that age should be a factor, but it is. She's a beautiful 57-year-old woman. And the things sometimes that come out of her mouth, to me, in my opinion, kind of take away from that beauty. This particular comment that she made about she vacations for the month, whereas maybe guys that's trying to talk to her, look forward to, vacationing for the weekend. Namely saying that, I'm in a particular tax bracket, I make a certain amount of money, and, y'all ain't got it. And to me, there is nothing wrong with having standards, expectations, boundaries, if you will. That is a healthy sign of, that's a healthy characteristic of any person. You're going to have boundaries and expectations, right? But the thing that kind of gets me is her age, and that's still like the most important thing. And you like what you like, you want what you want, so that's fine, right? But I'm of the mindset, I'm a woman of a particular age. I'm, early 40s, so I'm not, too far behind her. But the mindset that says, well, I'm 57 years old, I'm, of a certain net worth, and so I need to date in this net worth. And while I think it's important to have someone that, is equal to you in some type of way, it's kind of disheartening to hear that that's still like the most important thing. And I've seen her like in other interviews, and it's never really about companionship, true love, someone that you want to, ride off in the sunset with her. It's always very surface. It's always just money. Well, I make this and he should have that. Well, he can't afford, the bills in my house. And it's always that particular thing where she gets stuck. And in my opinion, that's why she's single. And some would say, well, she's probably single by choice, or I'm sure dudes try to, men try to, approach her all the time. Here's the thing about that. So you're twice divorced. And again, sometimes relationships don't work out. Marriages, I know one of her husbands was unfaithful. And so I get it. You cheat on me, I'm taking the ring off. I'm signing the papers. I'm leaving too. That may not be everyone's deal breaker, but for some it is. That is something that she was not willing to go through, right? So again, that's her boundary. I respect it and understand it. But to me, at 57, the mindset to still say, well, I make a certain amount of money, so he needs to make a certain amount of money, sounds great. But when you're in a certain tax bracket and then you're, top of that, when you're at a certain age, you kind of have to shape yourself to where you are. Because unfortunately, or fortunately, depends on, how you flip the coin, men perhaps in that bracket who, are 7-figure, 8-figure earners, pushing 60 or at 60, 65, the majority of them that would probably be in her arena want a younger woman. It may not be a 19, 20 something year old. It may be, a early mid 30, early 40-year old. But even yet and still, there's, I'm sure, some sprinkles somewhere that want to, someone in their own age group, seasoned, experienced woman, what have you. I just kind of find it hard to believe that, okay, so and she also made the comment like, it's going to take his whole, paycheck just to take me out to lunch. These meetings that I have. And however classist it sounds and classist it is, she has a right to be that way, right? Like she has a certain amount of money. I don't think she's as well-to-do as she thinks she is, but she's comfortable, right? Nonetheless, she's comfortable, and apparently, money's good. So I begin to think, well, okay, so you're in a certain tax bracket, you're, have X amount of dollars, you can afford to take more than just the weekend off. You'll take a month or 2 or 3 off, vacation if you want to. You spend maybe 3-4 grand on a lunch is what you do. It's for some people it's like going to Applebee's. It's nothing to you. Okay, cool. So none of these places you've been to, you vacationed at, these circles that you're in, these luncheons, these meetings, that you partake in, you have not found one man of your desired caliber that wants to wake up next to you on a Saturday morning? Like, not one? Pause. Not one. Whether you're in St. Martin, Martha's Vineyard, Amalfi Coast, Dubai, wherever, right? You have not found one guy, one man that found you worthwhile, not discrediting your worth, but not one man has found you worthwhile to take on that task of, I can vacation for the year. You're talking about a few months or a month. I never have to work again. I see what you've got and I'll raise you 100 million, You have not found one. I don't think it's because, and this is just me putting my little pseudo psychoanalysis on it. Don't have a degree in psychology. I have several, but none in psychology, right? Part of me thinks she says things like this is because deep down, one, she doesn't either truly know what a real relationship is, what a real healthy, functional relationship is. And then the other part of me thinks that it's like a barrier. Maybe, she's dated and everyone doesn't date in the public eye. So I haven't seen her with a lot of men outside of the couple guys she's married. So perhaps she dates discreetly. But is that I'm starting to wonder, maybe that's a barrier. Well, I'll just say it's because the guy's intimidated because I, live in this certain kind of house. I make this certain kind of money and they're just all intimidated by me. It's like, honey, you don't have Oprah money. You don't have Oprah money and Oprah has a man. You don't have Beyonce money and Beyonce has a man. You don't even have Kris Jenner money and Kris Jenner has a man, right? Or at least last time I checked, right? So my thing is that just like what she says? Is that what she tells herself these relationships don't work out is because they can't afford my lifestyle. Unless you're somebody that's, I mean, where are you, and again, so where are you finding these men? Because if you're in a certain tax bracket, you live in a certain neighborhood, you dine at certain restaurants, you're a celebrity, so you're not, probably not going to Chili's, right? I doubt that the men that are approaching you are men that, maybe $50,000-$60,000 a year, right? Like that would be something that, or even 100,000, that would probably still be something that you would deem undateable because it's like, well, he only makes $120,000 a year. Maybe I make that in a month, right? So something's not adding up. You're dining, luncheon, taking meetings at these, restaurants that the average American wouldn't be able to afford on a daily or weekly or even monthly basis, right? A few grand on a lunch may be out of reach or may be deemed irresponsible when you make a certain amount of money. So you're at these places, you're vacationing for, 2-3 weeks, a month or two at a time. I'm sure you're not down the street at the Holiday Inn, So you're at these particular places and yet have yet to find one man deem you worthwhile of taking on the task of taking care of you. Now, and I'm not even sure she's looking for somebody to take care of her. Obviously, she can take care of herself financially, but someone that you feel could. So I feel like it's a little bit of I think it's a mental block, a barrier that she has. I think that's what she tells herself. Because a man, and I just feel like I could just sit on the hill on this one. The men that approach her are going to be in your bracket. Again, you're not going to meet Joe Schmo mechanic at the gas station. He's just like, oh my God, I just highly doubt it. I think, secondly, she kind of gives off a negative energy and very off-putting. Even her smiles are like grimaces. It's almost like the Grinch. It's like even her smiles don't even seem like smiles. It doesn't seem warm or welcoming. You can have all of these things. You can be beautiful, successful, well-traveled, and have a stank attitude. And a man can have everything that you want and will not give it to you. Will not even let you know that he has it to even give it to you. Because he's not going to give it to you because of how you are. And so I just wanted to just add my little 2 cents in. I don't like giving a whole lot of, I don't like talking about people, but it just kind of struck a chord because it's like when you're a seasoned woman, I would expect a certain amount of wisdom to come from you. And it just kind of seems like she's stuck. Like I would expect this like from a 27-year-old, influencer or, whatever. But again, she's entitled to her standards, her opinions, her expectations. I just think they're delusional and not realistic. But more power to you, sis. Thanks for watching.